model car fans, welcome to the Muscle Car Modeler. My name is Revell, and this Saturday I figured the model I was going to feature would be this one right here. This is a 69 Yenko 427 Nova. Pretty bad boy in its own right. Matter of fact, it was marketed as being lethal, and GM and Don Yenko used that. Well, Yenko used it in his advertising. GM used that as why they wouldn't build the car. So, but here's the model I built of it. So, when it came to the COPO program from GM, the Central Office Production Order Program, by '69, Don Yenko had managed to get GM to actually factory install the L72 427, 425 horsepower solid lifter motors into Chevelles and Camaros. Now before that, in the Camaros, he had to use the COPO program to order 396 Camaros for '67 and '68 with certain features and certain options to get them built the way he wanted. And then he would transplant the 427 into it because GM was refusing to do it. But by '69, he had gotten GM to actually approve it, and GM was putting the L72 427s in the Camaros for him. So all he really did was he was putting his decals and emblems on the Camaros, which is why so many Yenko Camaros were done. And he did similar to the Chevelle. I'm building a model of the Yenko Chevelle also. The '69 Chevelle, he really got GM to do that for him so he could sticker up the cars and get them done that way. So, you know, well, as a businessman, it was smart of him to get GM to do it and save him and his mechanics most of the legwork. And he was trying to keep it a secret so that he can get his cars, put the stickers on them, and send them out to the other dealers in his network that sold him as Yenko because he was trying to build his name. I'm sure many of you are familiar with the Yenko, but I figure I would go over some of this. And so he did a lot of that. So when it came to the Nova, he expanded his lineup in '69. Before that, he was just doing Camaros and Corvairs. But by '69, he decided to expand his lineup to include Chevelles and Novas. So he got the go-ahead with GM and was getting the Chevelles done, which he had 99 of those that he had ordered. And there were others that other dealers had found out about the COPO program and did. But when it came to the Nova, GM said no, they would not put the L72 427 in it. They would put the 396 in it. So it was basically the same as the COPO program for '68, but there were some tweaks. In '68, Fred Gibb had managed to get GM to put the 396 in it, the L78, the high horsepower solid lifter one, but GM had a thing where they did not put automatics behind the solid lifter engines. For some reason, their automatics weren't strong enough. So Fred Gibb had worked with GM and got them to really work out the Turbo 400 and get that combo set up. So for '68, there were 50 initial order automatic 396 pretty much drag race Novas built in '68. But that was the first of the automatic trannies behind a solid lifter. That's why anytime you read about a lot of these cars with the solid lifter, the 375 horse and 425 horse engines, they're all behind 4-speeds. Well, GM really didn't offer the automatic behind those engines. For some reason, they just weren't lasting, even though Mopar was killing it on the drag strips with their 727, which is legendary for shifting. Even Ford was a bit more reliable with their drag race automatics, and so it's kind of fun to read about all that. But GM, not so much. But when the '68s were built and they managed to get the automatic trannies and they had gotten that right, they were tearing it up. So for '69, the COPO program was pretty much unchanged for the Nova for the most part, other than that Don Yenko spec'd out, you know, he wanted rubber mats, but they were all pretty much SS packaged cars, and for the most part had the SS hood and the SS inserts on the hood, which like the model kit has, and the SS trim on the car, and then he would actually take the SS emblems off, whereas like the COPO Chevelles did not come with any SS emblems on them from GM. And same thing with the the Camaros, there were no badges on them. So GM didn't want people getting confused between their SS and the dealer special cars, even though the Novas were kind of the opposite. But he had ordered 37 according to the records. Another thing claims 38, but the generally accepted number was Yenko had ordered 37 Novas. Now, it was for the longest time believed that they were all sticks, that he just ordered all sticks. But as it turns out, they came to the dealership as 396s, and he would dress them all up, and then if the buyer was willing to pay for the 427, he would do the short block swap. They kept the heads, the intake, the carb, all of that was kept, and they swapped the short block for the L72 427. So they were pretty bare bones cars, but some of them were ordered with vinyl tops, like the one I got here is displaying a vinyl top, and others without vinyl top. But Yenko kept it to 4 colors. This is my rendition of garnet red. Then they offered Le Mans blue, rally green, and there was a 4th green, Fathom green, I believe, Fathom green. Sorry, it took me a minute to think about that one. So he only offered them in those 4 colors, and kept his options down to a minimum. And of those 37, it is generally believed that 8 or 9 of those did not get the 427 swap. And there was a recent one that was discovered as a legitimate Yenko car, but it had the 396. It had the automatic tranny, which was a shock because everybody believed that they were all 4-speed cars, even though the COPO program did offer an automatic. And it stayed column shift. Yenko liked to put floor shifters in the automatic cars. He did that to the Chevelles. All of them, I understand, were bench seat cars, even though this is kind of an SS as far as most of the trim on it, but it has a bench seat. It has the rubber floor mat, which all of Don's cars had. He preferred that. And no SS emblems front or back, but most of them had the SS hood. There are a few of them that don't. So there's a little bit of confusion there. But of the 37 built, about 10 of them are known to exist. And they were all ordered with the steel wheels. From what I understand, the Atlas wheels he would swap on at request. You know, if you were willing to spend the money, he would add it, which is how I built this one. So quite an interesting car, and pretty lethal, and I understand scary to drive for the car that is actually lighter than the Corvette. This is the lightest car that GM offered, you know, that you can get the V8s in. Corvair was a little bit lighter, but 69 was the last year for that. But when it came to Revell coming out with a kit, I decided I was gonna, you know, I had to have one of these. I like the Yenkos. Built a couple of 69 Camaros. Like I mentioned, you know, in my other videos, you'll see I'm working on building a 69 Chevelle from the new kit. But this kit had barely come out, and I had bought this, you know, when it was new, when this version came out. It had some flaws, though. The Revell kit had a few issues that it was pretty much an SS in the box, and it had the Yenko decals. But there were a couple of issues, and I had bought a few of the upgrade kits. Like the kit has the SS emblem in the grille, has the SS hood. The kit came with the Magnum 500 wheels, and it also had the rear bumper SS, and which, you know, I changed all that out, but with some help on this one. So I bought the resin conversion kit for the grill because somebody else, I believe it was Hearts Parts, not 100% sure, but they came out with the grill, the hood without the inserts, the bench seat, and the rear bumper insert here that didn't have the SS. So they came out with that, and I had bought those parts, and I was in the middle of this build slowly. It was, you know, an off and on project. I finished it in 2012, so this has been done for quite a while. But I knew I wanted to make a few things right with the kit. And there was a specific car I had seen that had the vinyl top and the garnet red that I wanted to replicate that car. So I knew exactly what I was doing. I had my reference car. So, and shortly after that, well, not shortly after that, but the COPO kit came out. The green car, the box art, the COPO kit. Even though it's not a Yenko car or a Baldwin Motion car, it's just more of a regular COPO kit. Kind of wish it was a 68 and it had the automatic. I'd like to convert it to that. But it had the regular hood, the non-SS grill, and the non-SS rear bumper. So since that kit came out, all of a sudden I had my chromed grill without the SS emblem, and then I used the rear bumper that had no insert already in it from that kit. This is still the resin piece from the resin kit, but that's the only piece. And then the bench seat that's in here, if you can get a good picture of it, hopefully the camera will pick it up. That's right from the COPO kit, that bench seat that's in there. So I swapped that right from the COPO kit and took the bucket seats out, which I hadn't built it at that point. So that corrected those items for me, made this build even easier. And I swapped, and these are the Atlas wheels, which are the torque thrust clones that Yenko used. These are right from Revell's 69 kit, and it had the blank tires, and these are the Goodyear tire transfers. Those are Chabot tire transfers. I still have some of those, but I wish I can get more of those. But since I got all those parts, it made building this thing easier. So I swapped the wheels, swapped the grill, and the seat, and it was pretty much ready to go. The motor and everything is right from the kit. I didn't change anything there. Just the decals, and all the decals are from the kit. And then did the underside, right from the kit. And I mean, this was a pleasure to build. I actually, enjoyed building these Novas. And the COPO kit, I can show you that one. I built that as a regular SS396. But she came out really nice. And then this used the pin style, so the wheel backs are the ones from the Nova, but the fronts are from the Camaro and the tires are from the Camaro. So, and I'm going to do the exact same thing on my Chevelle kit. And then the vinyl top, by the way, when I did the vinyl top, this is a piece of styrene that I had glued on there and got it ready, got it where I wanted it to, and then, foiled it. But this vinyl top texture, you see this? Now in my airbrushing video I talked a little bit about doing. This is all paint. There is no masking tape, no real special tricks. Next one of these I'll actually do. I'll film how I do it and did it, so that you can see how I took Tester's semi-gloss black paint and my airbrush and created this. Now the tricks are twofold. One, I used a lower air pressure and my airbrush and not thin the paint as much, so it kind of splattered. And I would just go lightly over it, let it splatter, let it dry, do it again. So I would get all these droplets and build up the texture. And I also did it in sections. With the seam here, that's paint. That's all that is. You can see that seam right there. And how I did that was, first I masked off right here, and I did the whole center section in the texture style paint. When that was done, then I just continued on and I did the sides and let it build up. I put a piece of masking tape on the other side, and then I did the same thing to the side. So I painted it basically in two sessions, but I painted the center section first, and then I painted the outer section second. And when it was all done, and I was pretty happy with it, but I had some tape marks and some deformities maybe, So after I was done, I did my last coat, and I did more of the splatter texture type spraying with my airbrush on the entire top as the last coat, so it gives it the universal shine. So while it's not masking tape or anything real special, it came out really, really nice and really, really convincing, and I've done a few vinyl tops this way now. So that's my trick on how I did the vinyl top, and I'll do a video on how I did that on another one so you can see how that worked out. But this particular car I had to clone. I wanted to do it in this color. I wanted to do the vinyl top, add the wheels, add all the emblems, and really, really pleased with how this one came out. Wonderful build, and a great one to build, and I haven't decided, if I get the itching and I get another kit or two kits, I'll build another one, because for some reason the Nova kits haven't been reissued in a while and they're getting a little hard to find. I was searching for a COPO. I mean, this one was reissued I think most recently, but the COPO kit is a little harder to find right now, and so I had looked for one of those for a little bit because I needed a donor, and that was the one I wanted to find. But I figured you would enjoy this for this Saturday's episode, and showing you what I built and some tips and part swapping I did, because it's not really out of the box, but I hope you enjoyed it. wanted to share with you since I'm reviewing some of the history of the Yenkos and the specifics as I build my Yenko Chevelle, and you'll see updates on that. I figure I would show you this Yenko Nova and go over some of the unique features and build on this one. So thank you for subscribing, thank you for tuning in and all your comments, and hit that bell button so you can get the latest updates on everything. And you guys, you have a wonderful Saturday, and I'll see you next weekend.